Most people still think billion-dollar companies need massive teams, hundreds of employees, layers of management, huge venture capital rounds, office towers filled with specialists. That belief made sense for decades. But something strange is happening right now. The structure of business is quietly changing. A small number of individuals are building companies that behave like huge organizations. Not because they hired thousands of people, because they replace thousands of functions with artificial intelligence. And the result looks almost impossible at first glance. One person, global product, millions of customers, and systems doing most of the work. This is the beginning of something economists did not expect. The rise of the one-person billion-dollar business. Not a myth. Not a motivational slogan. A structural shift in how value gets created. To understand why this is happening, you have to start with a simple observation. The cost of producing knowledge work is collapsing. For most of modern history, production required people. Lots of people. Researchers, writers, designers, programmers, analysts, support teams. Ideas were not the bottleneck. Execution was the bottleneck. Turning an idea into a product required coordination. Coordination required teams. Teams required money. And money created barriers. If you did not have capital, you stayed outside the market. But artificial intelligence quietly removed a large part of that barrier. AI multiplies the cognitive output of a single individual. Tasks that once took 10 specialists can now be assisted by software systems. Research can be compressed. Analysis can be accelerated. Content can be produced faster. Software can be generated quicker. Workflows that once took weeks can shrink into hours. And that changes the entire structure of economic production. Because the true constraint in digital markets was never ideas. The constraint was production capacity. Now imagine what happens when that capacity multiplies. The timeline between idea and execution collapses. An individual can design something in the morning, test it the same afternoon, release it globally the same week. That speed creates something extremely powerful. Rapid experimentation. And rapid experimentation changes how businesses are built. Traditional companies spend months planning products. Small AI-driven builders test ideas immediately. If the market responds, they refine. If the market ignores it, they pivot. Then they test again. Fast experiment. Fast feedback. Fast improvement. This cycle compounds faster than most people realize. And the compounding advantage appears quietly. Let us look at a simple scenario. Two people decide to build digital products. Both start in January. Person 1 experiments every week. Person 2 waits for perfect preparation. After 12 months, Person 1 has tested 50 ideas. Person 2 launches the first product. Now imagine each successful experiment becomes a digital asset. An ebook, a course, a software tool, a media channel. Each asset can reach global audiences. And digital distribution has almost zero marginal cost, meaning the next customer costs almost nothing. This is where the economics become surprising. Consider a small digital product priced at $20. If 1,000 people buy it, revenue becomes $20,000. That might seem modest, but global platforms allow far larger reach. If 100,000 people buy the same product, revenue becomes $2 million. And the creator may still be working alone, because production and distribution are largely automated. This is the hidden mechanism behind AI-driven entrepreneurship. Small experiments can scale globally. The cost of failure is extremely low. The cost of learning is extremely low, which increases experimentation dramatically. And experimentation builds skill faster than theory. This is the early acquisition advantage. People who start experimenting early accumulate insight earlier. They understand how tools behave. They learn which prompts produce better outputs. They discover which markets respond. Over time, these insights compound. Skill compounds. Audience compounds. Products compound. And eventually, the builder is no longer starting from zero. They are operating a small ecosystem. Several digital products. A growing audience. Automated workflow supporting everything. From the outside, it still looks like one person. But the system behaves like a company. Now here's where the idea of billion-dollar scale appears. Because digital assets behave differently from physical businesses. A physical business grows linearly. More customers usually require more staff. More staff increases cost. But digital systems scale differently. Once built, they can serve millions of users without proportional increases in labor. A single piece of software can reach millions. A media platform can reach global audiences instantly. An automated service can operate continuously. The economics become asymmetric. Small teams can control very large value flows, sometimes even a single individual. This leads to a realization many people initially reject. The most powerful asset in the AI economy is leverage. Technology amplifies human capability. The same way machines amplified physical labor during the Industrial Revolution. But now the amplification targets cognitive work. Thinking, designing, analyzing, creating. AI does not remove human creativity. It multiplies the speed of execution, which means the person directing the system becomes extremely powerful, because value still originates from human insight. Ideas, interpretation, judgment. Machines accelerate the process, but direction still comes from people. This is why deep understanding becomes more important. As automation increases, routine tasks disappear. The remaining advantage comes from better thinking, better questions, better decisions, better problem framing, and individuals who combine strong thinking with AI leverage gain enormous advantage. They operate like miniature organizations. Research assistant systems gather information. Analytical systems process data. Creative systems generate variations. Automation systems distribute products. The individual becomes a strategic controller of multiple digital processes. A small command center directing large computational output. This model is called micro-entrepreneurship. But the name is misleading, because the scale is not necessarily small. The structure is small. The reach can be massive. Imagine a digital creator building educational software. The initial version might take 3 months. AI helps accelerate research and coding. After launch, 10,000 users adopt the tool. At $10 per month, revenue becomes $100,000 monthly. That equals $1,200,000 yearly. And the product can keep scaling. If adoption grows to 100,000 users, revenue becomes $12 million yearly. The team might still be extremely small, possibly just one founder with automated infrastructure. This is the scalability logic of digital assets. Once created, they can reach unlimited audiences. And AI dramatically lowers the cost of creating them. But there is another important layer beneath this shift. Access to markets is no longer local. Digital platforms distribute globally. A product built in a small town can reach customers across continents. Distribution channels already exist. App stores, content platforms, digital marketplaces. The infrastructure for global distribution is already built, which means new creators only need to plug into the system. They do not need to build global logistics. The platform provides it. This removes another historical barrier: market access. In the past, companies spent years building distribution networks. Now individuals upload products directly to global platforms. The result is an explosion of micro-businesses. Small experiments appearing everywhere. Most fail quickly, but the successful ones scale quickly. And when they scale, the leverage becomes enormous. This creates another interesting effect. The cost of experimentation collapses. Launching a digital product might cost almost nothing. Testing an idea might take a few days. So people experiment more frequently. Higher experimentation increases the probability of discovering successful products, which leads to an insight many observers miss. Success is not only about ideas. It is about experiment velocity. The faster someone can test ideas, the faster they find market fit. AI increases that velocity dramatically. And the advantage compounds over time. Consider another simple scenario. Two entrepreneurs build digital services. Both earn $50,000 in the first year. But one reinvests time into automated systems. The other continues manual operations. After 3 years, the automated system scales. Revenue grows to $500,000 yearly, while manual operations remain around $70,000 yearly. The difference comes from leverage. Automation converts human effort into scalable processes, and AI accelerates the creation of those processes, which leads to a wealth shock moment. Most people believe income is tied to hours worked. But digital leverage breaks that link. An automated product can generate revenue continuously, even while the creator sleeps, even while the creator works on something new. This is not passive income in the traditional sense. It is system-driven income. Systems produce value repeatedly. Once the architecture exists, And AI dramatically reduces the difficulty of building those architectures. But there is another deeper shift occurring beneath the surface. Knowledge acquisition itself is accelerating. AI compresses large volumes of information into usable insights. Learning that once took years can happen faster. Research becomes quicker. Analysis becomes quicker. Understanding complex topics becomes easier. This accelerates expertise development. And expertise combined with AI leverage becomes extremely powerful. Because the person directing the system understands what matters. They evaluate outputs critically. They refine strategies intelligently. Without deep understanding, AI outputs can be misleading. But with deep understanding, AI becomes a productivity amplifier, a thinking partner, a computational assistant expanding human capability. And this synergy creates a new type of professional, the AI augmented strategist. Someone who directs automated systems to produce economic value. These individuals do not replace thinking with machines. They multiply thinking through machines. And as more digital workflows become automated, the scale of this leverage increases. Research agents gather information automatically. Analysis agents evaluate scenarios. Creative systems generate variations of products. Distribution systems publish and promote content globally. Each layer reduces the amount of manual effort required, which means a single individual can manage increasingly complex operations. From the outside, it still looks like one person. But inside the system, multiple digital processes operate continuously. This is why some analysts believe the first true one-person billion-dollar company may eventually appear. Not because one person performs every task manually, but because one person controls a network of automated systems, directing production, distribution, optimization. The individual becomes the strategic center of a digital organization, and the organization scales through automation. However, this opportunity also carries risk. When barriers to entry fall, competition increases. More people enter the market. More digital products appear. Attention becomes scarce. Quality becomes critical. And platform dependency becomes real. Distribution platforms control algorithms and visibility. Changes in those systems can impact businesses overnight, which means builders must adapt constantly, experiment constantly, learn constantly, because the environment evolves quickly. But this is also where early participation becomes powerful. Those who start experimenting earlier accumulate experience earlier. They understand the ecosystem better. They build audiences earlier. They refine products earlier. And that early momentum compounds. Imagine two creators again. One starts experimenting today. Another waits 5 years. The first creator might already have 10 products, an established audience, automated distribution systems. The second creator is just beginning. This is the exponential accumulation principle. Small advantages repeated over time become massive differences. Skill compounds. Audience compounds. Market knowledge compounds. Eventually, the early builder operates within an ecosystem of digital assets. And each asset supports the others. Products promote content. Content attracts audience. Audience discovers new products. The system becomes self-reinforcing. At that point, growth accelerates. Not because of more effort, because the architecture produces momentum. This is the deeper architecture behind the AI leverage economy. Human creativity generates ideas. AI accelerates production. Digital platforms distribute globally. Market feedback refines products. Successful products become scalable assets. Assets generate recurring revenue. Revenue funds further experimentation. And the cycle continues. Idea. AI-assisted production. Global distribution. Market feedback. Product refinement. Scalable asset. Recurring revenue. Each loop improves the system. Each loop increases leverage. And eventually a small operation behaves like a large enterprise. From the outside, it may still look simple. A creator working on a laptop. But beneath the surface, a network of automated processes operates continuously, generating value, responding to markets, expanding reach. This transformation is still in its early stages. Most people are only beginning to understand the implications. Many still treat AI as a novelty, a tool for occasional convenience. But the deeper change is structural. Production itself is becoming programmable. Digital labor can operate continuously. And individuals who learn to orchestrate these systems gain enormous leverage. In the coming decade, the most powerful businesses may not look like traditional corporations. They may look like intelligent digital ecosystems directed by very small teams. Sometimes, perhaps, even one person. Which raises a final question worth thinking about. if technology can multiply human capability this dramatically, then the real competitive advantage becomes something simple. Not resources, not credentials, but curiosity and experimentation. The willingness to start building, testing ideas, learning quickly, adapting continuously. Because in a system where experimentation compounds, early action becomes extremely powerful. And the people exploring this new leverage today are quietly building the foundations of tomorrow's digital economy. So if the shift makes you curious, take a moment to think about one simple question. What small experiment could you start this week? Because in the AI economy, small experiments sometimes grow into very large outcomes. And the next breakthrough digital business might not begin in a giant office. It might begin with a single person opening a laptop and deciding to try something new. If this perspective expanded how you see the future of work, share your thoughts below. Conversations around these ideas often reveal the next layer of insight.